No, no. So it's a tremendous product. I mean, when you look at a town like Atlanta, you look at Cincinnati, look at Cleveland, look at Detroit, Houston, Dallas, other areas. Those are really entrepreneurial areas, and this product really give people an opportunity to get inside, get involved in real estate. I tell people all the time, if this product was out 15, 20 years ago, I mean, you would probably have to talk to three people before you get to me because I mean, just think you can use the potential lease of the property, the current lease of the property as revenue. So you don't need tax returns, you don't need W-2s, you don't need any of those things that may be a little invasive.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Dr. Anthony Kellum, is the CEO and president of Kellum Mortgage and Kellum Capital Group, with over 30 years of experience structuring capital for real estate investors across residential, commercial, DSCR, and non-QM lending. He's the author of Property is Power: Building Wealth in Distressed Neighborhoods, and is known for helping investors build sustainable wealth by acquiring, rehabbing, and repositioning properties in distressed and underserved areas. Through a disciplined, impact-driven investment lens, he focuses on maximizing returns while revitalizing opportunities and expanding long-term ownership. You can find him at kellummortgage.com. Dr. Kellum, thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on your show. This is awesome.
Now, when we talk specifically about the intersection of investing and mortgage, I think a lot of times people separate these two buckets, and the sentiment there is, well, you've got the residential side and then you've got the investor side, but you're involved in both. I'd like to start there and ask you, is there a space for folks who are involved in that traditional mortgage side to work more hand in hand with investors?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, it kind of happens organically, right? So once you get your hand around, mortgage lending, and you start doing investment loans and things of that nature, and you have different borrowers come in, it kind of piques your appetite to learn more and to have more discovery. And for me, coming out of a market like Detroit, I always looked at Detroit as a tremendous real estate opportunity. And I wanted to package that in a way where, people could understand it and see Detroit differently than what they always have. And so I give a lot of shout out to Dan Gilbert, who really put Detroit kind of back on the map, downtown with businesses, restaurants, a booming area. And so I kind of try to look at that from a inner city neighborhood approach. And I kind of crafted some niche approaches to real estate to say, hey, how can you turn communities around? How can you also build wealth and make money doing that? So rewarding. And also the price points are much cheaper. So
Sure.
it's kind of like, so I typically I started to transition more in that space because the demand was there. No one had really reached out. No one had really shared. And I also used and showed actual deals I closed on that I got fairly cheap rehab that made money either with a tenant, made money over appreciation, or made equity in most cases, a lot of cases. So, and that just became my passion, because when people can discover that they can make some money
Now,
and also change neighborhoods. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
when we talk specifically about Detroit, this is an area I think which maybe recently has seen a lot of interest from outside of Detroit and from investors out of the state. Has this been a trend that you've seen going on for years or a decade or more, or is this something maybe newer where you're seeing more out of state investors in more recent times investing in Detroit?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. Yeah, so for me personally, I saw the opportunity years before capital showed up. I always give Dan praise because he put his money in areas that were underserved, and he could have invested in more things he could with less risk. But he's doing. I don't think he's unhappy now. He's doing great in Detroit. We're glad to have him. But I always looked at like, for most investors, I started at the bottom, and so you get in at the lowest point. And when you get in at the lowest point, there's a lot of opportunity there. And it's just trying to paint a picture that people can start seeing it your way, through your eyes, through your lens. And I've been fairly successful doing that.
Now, I know recently DSCR specifically seems to be a product that so many people in the lending space are utilizing. I've seen, brick and mortar banks get involved in DSCR. I've seen,
Mhm.
hard money lenders get involved in DSCR. And then I've seen folks who, are involved in both spheres do DSCR as well. For our audience and for folks who may not be aware why this is happening, is DSCR something that has had a kind of a bull run here, or has this been a product that has been around for a long time and now is just gaining popularity?
No, no. So it's a tremendous product. I mean, when you look at a town like Atlanta, you look at Cincinnati, you look at Cleveland, look at Detroit, Houston, Dallas, other areas. Those are really entrepreneurial areas, and this product really give people an opportunity to get inside, get involved in real estate. I tell people all the time, if this product was out 15, 20 years ago, I mean, you would probably have to talk to 3 people before you get to me. Because I mean, just think, you can use the potential lease of the property, the current lease of the property as revenue. So you don't need tax returns, you don't need W-2s, you don't need any of those things that may be a little invasive. You're gonna have to put some money down. And that has been an overwhelming success. So, you can close in your business name, you can close in your personal names. That's just been a tremendous, tremendous tool that everybody from banks, institutions, has jumped on the bandwagon for good reason. I think it's a phenomenal product, phenomenal program. And I think that can help turn a lot of neighborhoods around, and also create the next set of real estate investors and the next set of real estate millionaires.
Now, pivoting a bit here, when we talk about distressed neighborhoods specifically, there's a couple of different ways where I've seen distressed neighborhoods transform. One is through fix and flip, and an individual investor might come in and tear down a property that is a tear down, or rehab a property and fix and flip it to sell. But then I've also seen areas where you'll have an area rezoned potentially, and you'll see single family to then larger townhomes or multi-story properties. And so whenever there is distress, there does also seem to be an opportunity. If we're going to
Mhm.
look at Detroit specifically, What approach have you taken to distressed properties and neighborhoods that you have seen work the best?
Yeah. So thank you for that question. That's another great question. So for me, my formula is, when you drive through a city like Detroit, there are a lot of strong neighborhoods um, that will have distressed properties in their neighborhoods on that block, around the block, couple on the block. So I identify those properties and I tell people, hey, you're living in this neighborhood. It's a great house. It's got great potential, great value, and it sustain your neighborhood value so that it doesn't, decrease. Why not buy it? Why not fix it? Why not sell it or put it back on the market? So my lens, typically, I try to source properties that are what I would call strong neighborhoods, homeownership neighborhoods where a family could live in. That's kind of my lens, my niche, and that's been very. You can pull, comps. You got comps in those areas already, so you get an idea of value after repair value in those areas. Those things are all easier to do and not so tenuous in other areas where the blight is much more significant. So I take a personal joy in going to neighborhoods and help raise the value in those neighborhoods, help those neighborhoods stay clean, and have the vision of the makeup of that neighborhood.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Now, when we talk about rehabbing a distressed property specifically, one of the uh, obstacles or bottlenecks that I've seen flippers um, stumble over is they might have like a cookie cutter approach to what their rehabs look like. And it could be beautiful, right? But if they're not matching that up with what the recent comps are selling for, and if they're not, potentially analyzing, hey, are we over rehabbing this property? And, are we prepared, to be setting the market here? That could also be a potential problem for folks because if you're just going based off of what you've previously done and what's worked, even just a couple streets away, that doesn't always mean that that home will sell in that time frame for that price on a street that's just maybe a couple blocks over.
Well, if I understand your question correctly, yeah. So each deal is different, but you get a really sense, kind of an expert sense of what will happen in the marketplace based on what you've done. You're going you're going to hire better contractors. You're going to learn how to scale your costs. There are things that you pick up. You may have over invested too much money in the kitchen on your last property. These
Right.
things that you learn. But from a numbers perspective, the numbers are the numbers. So whatever your acquisition cost is and what you think that value is going to be in the current marketplace, and you have to work in that area. So I would never recommend someone to over rehab a property or put too much in that property where the value wouldn't be sustained. But I've also told people like, I also have done this personally where I bought property where, I thought it was going to be a flip. The market tilted in a different direction. It became a great rental property. So I cash flow, I make money that way. Markets turn around and when they do, you sell. I typically try to find tenants that are for future homeowners. So I'm not out looking for buyers at that time, and I look at credit, I look at their job, I look at resumes, and then maybe I turn around and rent it to them for X a period of time. Then I could give them, a session to help with some of the closing costs and that type of stuff for good behavior, right? So they keep the property up, they maintain the property, they pay me every month. I'll try to reward that because what I've discovered, 90% of people work and their housing is very important to them. It's the cash reserves, the down payment, and those things are the real impediment for most people, and more importantly, our young people. So we can help bridge that gap by doing some type of concession and rewarding them for good behavior. That's always been beneficial. So you just got to be able to pivot your mindset. Sometime you go into somewhere, you're looking to sell it and flip it quickly, market flips on you. Then you just rent it,
Pivot strategy.
So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of what I do.
That the ability to not bank on one thing entirely, right? So if you realize, hey, this property isn't selling, it's sitting on market, can we turn it into a rental? I've heard this enough times where I'm thinking, hey, if I'm going to go do a flip anywhere in the country, even though my exit is going to be a sell, right? I'm still going to look at what the rental rates are, not just so that I can talk to the end buyer, but because if I have to hold this property, I want to know what it's going to look like, right? And I want to know how I'm going to, bridge that debt, or refinance out of that. And I have to be prepared for, that second exit strategy. And I think all too often, whether it's single family or definitely multifamily, where it does seem like for
Mhm.
the last, 6 years or so, give or take, it was a tough time for a lot of multifamily investors. You have to have that ability to pivot and to identify not just your prime number one exit strategy, but also potentially number two and maybe even number three.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to pivot. And, being an entrepreneur is broad. So you have to be somewhat creative. You have to find the contractors that you like. And then sometime on a work site, you'll find a team of guys in there working, and some guy befriend you, and he could do things less, or he wants to be more entrepreneur, start his own contractor company. So there could be savings there, but also, I would be remiss to say that you want to make sure you're bringing top-notch contractors to the table, because a deal can go sideways quickly if they don't show up, they don't put permits. The craftsmanship and quality is not great. And we've all experienced that. I've experienced that many times, even most recently. So I've had to recently we got to a bathroom, spent money. Don't make me cry here. So, and then I had to bring another contractor in, rip out the bathroom that they did because it was just shoddy work. And I consider myself pretty seasoned, and just stay in the don't pick up the personality that I have, and where understand the human dynamic. I'm always trying to give people an opportunity, and sometimes you are disappointed. And in this case, I gave someone an opportunity. They talked a big game, and someone gave me an opportunity. I tell my wife all the time, like, "Hey, I'm here because someone gave me an opportunity." So and sometimes it works out for you, and sometimes it don't work out for you. In that case, it wasn't. We're going to be okay, but it didn't work out for me.
That's one of the tricky things about any type of uh, partnership or transaction for that matter in real estate, because just like working with a contractor, that you're depending on that person. If you're working with a seller and I'm a realtor representing a buyer, I'm not just dependent on my client, I'm also dependent on the seller, like the other side of that transaction. So even though there may be an adversarial relationship to a degree there, or we may be trying to do best for our clients, or if I'm the seller myself, I'm trying to do the best for myself, I'm also
Hmm.
depending on the buyer, right? And so that's kind of the one of the beauties about real estate is that because it's not just one side. It's you've got a landlord and a tenant, right? You've got a buyer and a seller. You've got an investor and you've got contractors. It's just as much about those relationships as it is about underwriting the deal, as it is about the location and an exit strategy.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving parts. So it's just kind of trying to orchestrate all those moving parts and be clear. and communicate well with all those parties, which I think we do a good job at, is setting expectations, especially when you get real estate agents involved. And sometimes that can be a little complicated. And then there's only so much we can share personally about the borrower and whatever struggles that they have. But just kind of managing the expectations and say, hey, look, we're both trying to benefit this client. We're on the same team. I'm not in the business to waste money or your time, and I'm respecting yours. So indulge me a little bit to get this to the finish line. So sometimes you do have some uncomfortable conversations because it's just a maze that we're working in on the backside to get things done. So that's not always appreciated. Let's say in the real estate space per se.
We are coming up on time here, though, Dr. Kellum. Any new projects that you're working on, and then as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to your team?
Yeah. So one of the things I'm working on is working on our Properties Power platform, which is a seminar series to reach real estate investors and educate them on the power of real estate, and not only show them that there's wealth potentials, but also how we save our neighborhoods, how we build good schools, how we become stewards, stakeholders in our community. And in particular for the African American community, homeownership is just such an important, it's necessary and viable. It's not even a luxury that we own homes just because of all the goodwill I just said. In terms of reaching me, I would love to talk to your viewership. Contact number is 313-263-6388. That's 313 area code 263-6388. And you can reach me, email address, Anthony@kellummortgage.com. And that's ANTHONY at KELLUMORTGAGE.com. Just one M. So I share mortgage and Kellum. We share the same M. So
Share the
a
same
lot of
app.
emails get kicked back because people put the double M in there. So this has been good. I hope that it's been helpful for the 50 million people that are watching it right now. So and
Hey,
great. You're doing a great job. You got a future in television, man.
I appreciate it. Dr. Kellum, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.